Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Liberty Report. With me today is Daniel McAdams, who's the Executive Director of the Institute for Peace and Prosperity. Daniel, welcome to our program again.
Thank you, Dr. Paul.
Well, there's some very interesting news this weekend. It's on an issue we talk about all the time, on foreign policy to the Middle East. But most of us who follow this closely have heard about it, but I don't think the person that depends on regular TV has heard much about this. Matter of fact, it looks like a deliberate exclusion. And that has to do with the release of the Defense Intelligence Agency report of 2012. And Judicial Watch, which is a good organization, got the release of this. And although we had some suspicions of what was going on there, all of a sudden there is some confirmation. And I am quite sure that you have watched this carefully, and you might reveal a few of the things that was in this report.
Sure. Remember, this was an assessment taken just about a year after the U.S. actively began destabilizing the Syrian government. So the Defense Intelligence Agency, which, along with State Department's Intelligence and Resource Division, was actually very accurate in 2002 on Iraq. They did an assessment in 2012, and here are the three big takeaways from what was a heavily redacted report, but there was some still in it. The first being that the U.S. knew Al-Qaeda was a key part of the Syrian opposition from the beginning. I remember we were told that these were moderate rebels, but the U.S. knew that Al-Qaeda was key. The second was that the destabilization of Syria could result in the creation of an Islamic state in eastern Syria. And here's the quote from the report. This is exactly what the supporting powers to the opposition want. It said the supporting powers were the Western countries, the Gulf states, and Turkey. The third big takeaway, and this is interesting considering what's happened in the past week or so, the creation of an Islamic state in eastern Syria would have, quote, dire consequences and, quote, listen to this, create ideal atmosphere for Al-Qaeda to return to Mosul and Ramadi.
See, for a while, we've been trying to sort this out. Are these people just really stupid? You know, we go over and they're supporting the wrong people, and the weapons end up in the hands of ISIS. And we say, well, they're either totally inept or stupid. But it turns out it's their strategy. You know, it's somewhat, very much like the strategy that was used in the 1980s when Brzezinski designed this thing that we're going to radicalize the Muslims, and which they did. The CIA radicalized Muslims in these madrasa schools. Hundreds of thousands of people went through these schools, and this is a continuation of this. So failure was actually their goal, and they weren't there to stop ISIS, but their goal, and you mentioned it, the main goal of all this activity was anti-Assad, anti-Russia part of that, and anti-Iran. But more directly at this moment, it's anti-Assad, and there was a lot of factions that wanted to do this. Obviously, Israel was in favor of this. The Saudis in particular were in favor of this.